So while you were preparing for the prelims, did you face any kind of hurdles or problems, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so basically the only hurdle that I faced during prelims was though I did not start my actual preparation for mains until after I'd given my prelims examination and I was confident of clearing it.
Do you think your background or your education qualification and like your work experience helped you to clear this exam?
I would say...
How was your experience with the interview?
My experience was pretty mixed, I would say, because the fact that I am coming from an IIM and I have worked in some reputed firms earlier, they were pretty adamant on going easy on me. So they were grilling me, I'll be very honest. They wanted to grill me. They wanted to...
Hello, this is Bhagyashree and welcome to Oliveboard. Today we have a very special guest with us, Sai Lokesh, who has secured All India Rank 1 in IBPS SO Marketing. So welcome, Lokesh.
Thank you so much, Bhagyashree.
Lokesh has scored the maximum official score of 87.47 and the scorecard will be displayed here. So Lokesh, please tell us your first reaction when you got the results.
I'll be honest here, it was unbelievable. You know, you don't expect to walk out one day and expect to score AIR 1 in an exam that's as reputed as IBPS SO. And going by the fact that this year was particularly difficult and the cutoffs were particularly high, I did not expect to secure AIR 1, but now that I've secured it, I believe it's a joy in itself.
Okay, so what was your family's reaction?
They were awestruck, to be honest. They were like, they were happy with my selection as such, but they did not expect me to secure AIR 1. So that this was like something new to them. You know, I've cleared multiple exams over the years in my life, and I was clearing them, but securing AIR 1 is a different feeling in itself. They were on the top of the world, on cloud 9, I would say, and yeah, their reaction was worth remembering for me.
Okay, that's great. So tell us about yourself, your education qualification.
Sure. I'm basically from Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. I've done my MBA with a specialization in marketing from IIM Indore, post which I had worked in an ad tech firm in the sales and ad operations role. And I'm currently working as a senior marketing consultant in a crypto and blockchain based firm. And this was my first attempt at IBPS SO, and I'm glad to have cracked it.
Okay, so what motivated you to choose IBPS SO Marketing?
See, I come from a strong marketing background, you know, with an MBA in marketing from IIM Indore, along with a work experience in digital marketing, where I've done sales and operations as well. So I understood the know-hows of sales and marketing. And while I came across the notification of IBPS SO, that felt like something I should try out. You know, working for a public sector bank at this stage of my career, the kind of exposure that I would get, that is what basically drew me to this role.
Okay, so how many years of work experience you have?
I currently possess close to 2.5 years of work experience, both in sales, digital ad operations, and pure play marketing.
Okay, so many people are confused between PO and SO roles, right? So why did you choose IBPS SO specifically?
See, as I said, I was pretty clear on what I wanted to do right from the beginning. I would have gone for a PO, but again, that was not something that I could have done naturally, right? I have an experience in marketing. I come with a strong marketing background in academics as well. So having an opportunity to work directly in marketing in a bank was something that excited me, and that was a niche that I wanted to explore for a foreseeable future as well. So that was one of the reasons I chose SO over PO.
Okay, that's great. So do you remember your scores for prelims, mains and interviews?
I do.
Yeah.
So in prelims, I scored 53 out of 125. In mains, I scored 53.75 out of 60. And my overall score was 87.47, and my interview score was 16.
Okay, that's great. So this was your first attempt, right?
Yeah, this was my first attempt.
Okay, that's great. So let's come to the prelims part. How did you prepare for your prelims?
I'll be pretty honest here. See, I come from an MBA background. I've cleared CAT. I've got into an IIM. So I had strong basics with regards to quantitative aptitude, reasoning, and English as well. So I believe that I just need to brush up my basics. So I reached out to a few people. I watched a few videos over YouTube. I've taken multiple mock tests. Again, Oliveboard was my preferred platform as far as the mocks were concerned. So I'd taken multiple mock tests before I went into the prelims examination, and that basically helped me build my confidence. And I would say that the mocks of Oliveboard were more or less similar to the exam level, so that pretty much helped me. And yeah, I was able to clear prelims with a good score.
Okay, so you found the Oliveboard mocks quite relevant to the actual exam, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah. So, do you think that many aspirants have mentioned that Oliveboard mock tests are quite on the slight on the tougher side, right? So,
Yeah.
do you think it's quite tougher than the actual examination?
I would say it is slightly tougher than the actual examination. But having said that, you cannot expect good scores without having practiced a tougher mock than the actual exam, right? So that level of toughness actually prepares you for the final examination. You would not have any surprises when you look at the paper. See, let's say I'm scoring, let's say somewhere around 40 to 45 marks in my regular Oliveboard mocks, right? And they're tougher ones. And if I if I see that the preliminary examination is comparatively easier than what I've attempted on Oliveboard, it actually helps my preparation, right? On the exam day, it gives me that confidence that, see, I've practiced this. This is much easier than what I've already done in the mocks. So for that confidence building part, I believe that that slight level of toughness is required.
Okay. So do you remember your mock scores initially?
Initially I was scoring around 45 to 50, around 45 to 50 in the in my initial mock test. As I progressed, I could even cross 70 a few times in Oliveboard mocks.
Okay.
And in the final examination, I scored 53.
Okay, that's great. So, how did you improve it?
I would say practice. Pure play practice would help in this sense. See, prelims is something related to quant reasoning and English, right? The more you practice, the more questions you get exposed to. That is when you build up your strategy. You know what kind of questions you want to attempt and what kind of questions you want to leave out. So I had that strategy in mind. I built that strategy by taking a number of mocks, and that basically helped me do well in the final mocks that I took.
Okay. So, what do you think about mock analysis?
See, mock analysis is pretty much important, even in the prelim stage, I would say. So, whatever exams I've cracked up till date, I've cleared JEE Advanced, I've cleared CAT. So, in every stage of the exams that I've given, I've understood that mock test basically help with 80% of your preparation. So, coming to the analysis part, right? I would say mocks help you do two things. One, revise what you already know. Two, give you exposure to new things. So in that sense, every mock I've taken, I've given twice as much time to analyze it. So understand what are the questions that I should have attempted but I did not. Mark them up, make sure I did not repeat that mistake. And if there was some other question that I did not know altogether that I should have known, so that was another part of mock analysis. So this was my analysis altogether.
Okay, that's great. So while you were preparing for the prelims, did you face any kind of hurdles or problems, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so basically the only hurdle that I faced during prelims was the fact that I hadn't been exposed to quant reasoning and English for quite some time now, because I'd cracked CAT, I'd done my MBA, I'd worked in a firm, and I was not staying in touch with all those things, right? So I had to brush up my concepts, build up everything basically. So basically quant was one of my areas of hurdle, I would say, that I needed to improve, because there are some concepts that you need to brush up in quant, right? And you also need to make sure you have the right mindset to that you know what kind of questions you want to attempt and what kind of questions you want to leave out in quant. So building that strategy, working on that, brushing up the basics, be it related to quant or reasoning. English was always my strong suit. So related to quant and reasoning, I had to brush up my basics and build that up from the beginning. That took quite some time, but I was willing to work for it. So that has paid its rewards.
Okay, that's great. So as you have mentioned it, initially you were scoring less marks in the mocks and then you improved it, right?
Yeah.
So for many people, they get demotivated and they sometimes give up on the preparation. So what would you like to give as an advice to them?
See, in this case, mock analysis would certainly help, because if you straight up look at the mock, look at the scores of the mock at the face value of them, right? You would not understand the analysis, the actual what goes behind it, right? If you see that you're just scoring low and you're getting demotivated by it, that doesn't help. Just go into that, understand what are the mistakes you have done, some things that you could have done better but you did not. Things that you could learn from that mock. Look at those things. That will give you the confidence. See, let's say you scored 29 or 30 marks in a mock. Maybe after the analysis, you might be confident of scoring over 40. So the mock analysis gives you that confidence to come up from, the lower scores and the stigma that the lower scores have. So this is how I fought it. Yeah.
Okay. Your prelims, we can figure out the strategy you have used for your prelims. Now let's come to the mains part.
Yeah.
So how did you plan your preparation for the mains?
So I'll be very honest here. Though I did not start my actual preparation for mains until after I'd given my prelims examination and I was confident of clearing it. Because I had basic foundation of marketing, understood how marketing worked, the concepts of digital marketing, the concepts of sales, the know-how of everything. So I knew that I had enough time after prelims that I could prepare for mains. So once after the once I had given the prelims and the prelims analysis was out, I was confident that I could clear prelims. Then I started referring to multiple sources. Coming from an IIM, I already have a lot of sources at my disposal. We have our internal marketing club books that I could refer to. I could refer to my MBA marketing concept notes that I prepared. Apart from that, I used to watch a lot of videos on YouTube as well that were related to the concepts of marketing. So that basically helped me build that foundation. But again, this was the learning part was only 20% of my strategy for mains. The rest 80% was actually strategizing for mock tests, strategizing for the actual examination. So in that sense, I used to attempt multiple mock tests on a daily basis, starting from 1 month before the actual mains examination. The mains examination was on 9th of November, so I started on 9th of October. I started giving mocks. I started giving a couple of mocks every day. I used to analyze. See, these are the questions that I've attempted. These are the concepts that I already know. And I could attempt. These are the concepts that I know, but I could not attempt. So maybe I need reinforcement of knowledge in those areas, and some newer concepts that I was not aware of altogether. So these were the 3 things that I used to analyze in each mock. And through mocks, it was through mocks that I could crack the mains examination. And here as well, I would like to quote that Oliveboard was pretty helpful for me in that sense. The number of people giving the mock is also one of the important things to gauge the competition, right? So that was where Oliveboard helped me. The kind of mocks, the kind of questions that were being asked in the mocks, they were pretty extent, I would say. Almost in every mock that I used to cover, I used to come across one new question at least. So that was something that really helped me understand, build my confidence, build my concepts and fill in those gaps. Apart from that, I used to refer to other sources as well for learning. As I said, I used to refer to YouTube. I used to refer to multiple books as well. So yes, but 80% of my strategy overall was based on the mock test that I was giving. Yes.
Okay. So mock test really played a vital role in your preparation.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's great. So do you think your background or education qualification and like your work experience helped you to clear this exam?
I would say there was an internal motivation that drove me as far as my background and experience were concerned. I had that confidence at the back of my mind that I come from this background. The exam is focused on this, so I could crack it. I know the foundations of it. I know the know-how of it. So I had that on the back of my mind. But having said that, just like any other candidate, I had to work my way through it. I had to clear prelims, I had to clear mains, qualify it, give my interview. So it was there on the back of my mind. It was a confident booster for me, but ultimately I would say I had to work it out. I had to refer to a lot of things and work my way through it to clear the examination.
So there will be many aspirants who will be from the non-marketing background. So what advice or suggestion would you like to give to them?
See, at one stage of my career, I was also new to marketing, so to say. It felt like a huge hill to climb. Thankfully, I had mentors, I had friends who helped me out in this. But having said that, marketing is not rocket science. Once you start relating to the concepts of marketing, right, you see that they are being applied in everyday life, day-to-day life. The ads that you see, the promotions that you see, even in a day-to-day conversations, we try to uplift ourselves in front of others, right? That's in a way a form of brand image, PR, I would say. So marketing is inherently present in all walks of our life. You just have to be able to experience it. And I would say once you experience it, it's pretty easy to understand marketing. You could understand it, and once you start applying it in your life, right, it's pretty interesting as well, the kind of things you can achieve through marketing. So that is what I would recommend to the upcoming.
Yeah, that's a really good point, like being curious about what is happening around and applying it. So let's come to the interview part now.
Sure.
How was your experience with the interview?
My experience was pretty mixed, I would say, because the fact that I am coming from an IIM and I have worked in some reputed firms earlier. They were pretty adamant on going easy on me. So they were grilling me. I'll be very honest. They wanted to grill me. They wanted to see if I could take the pressure. They were like, you are from an IIM. You could easily crack any private job that pays you much higher than we do. But I stood my ground. I had that clarity within myself why I was doing it in the first place. And I was able to convince them, see, these are the reasons I'm looking for exposure. I'm looking for, the financial stability that banks could provide. These were some of the reasons that I put in front of them. And I believe they were convinced, hence the score.
Okay, so do you remember any specific questions that you were being asked in the interview?
As I said, one of the questions was related to my background as well. I come from a strong marketing background already. Why don't I try for any jobs that pay me more? And why do I want to do this? This was one of the questions. Another question was related to customer lifetime value. They wanted to understand what's a customer lifetime value in the case of banks. How you would characterize a customer lifetime value, how would you increase it, and things along those lines. They also wanted to test me basis my work experience as well. They were like, how would your current work experience be relevant to a marketing role in bank? How would you apply what you have learned here to be relevant in a bank? And there were other HR questions as well, along the lines of, we would not be able to give you the kind of freedom you would be getting in a private sector job. You cannot figure out everything by yourself. There are certain mandates and norms that you need to work by. And they were just assessing me if I would be okay with that. Most of the interview was like, they wanted to see if I would actually stay in a banking role or I was just doing it for fun. So they were assessing my seriousness in that sense.
Okay, so how was it? Was it very tough, or you enjoyed the interview?
To be honest, I enjoyed the interview. I enjoyed the grilling as well. I expected it. I was sure that they would grill me because it's not every day that they come across candidates from my kind of background, right? So somebody who would leave a high-paying private job to work for a public sector bank. So it was interesting. I expected those questions. I was prepared for them, and hopefully I was able to convince them as well. And so that was a great experience altogether. And all of them were pretty experienced in the banking sector. So I could in a way learn from them as well.
Do you remember the duration of the interview?
It was around 25 minutes.
So do you think you have made any mistake in the preparation for mains or prelims or interview that the future aspirants can avoid?
One of the mistakes I would say is cancel out the outside noise. This year, especially since there was a cut in vacancies. Initially, there were 350 vacancies announced by PNB. Later, they got cut down to 100, and later Indian Bank added only 10. So essentially, out of the 350 vacancies, only 110 were there. So there were a lot of rumors going around that. people started getting demotivated by that. The number of vacancies is pretty less, so it would be pretty tough this year. The cutoff actually went pretty high, but I would say instead of focusing on the outside noise, cancelling that, if you could just focus on your preparation. Clearing the mains is not a difficult part. You just have to believe it yourself. You just have to manifest your success, and yeah, I'm sure you'll cross the line. Apart from that, another piece of advice would be that do not refer to multiple, quite a lot of sources. You can maybe stick yourself to 3 to 4 sources, maybe learn as much as you can from them, and apply your learnings to do well in mocks. Strategize it in the mocks. I've seen people spend like 6 to 7 months just to prepare for mains, but it did not help them in the end anyways. So strategize for your mocks. Learning is one part, but that would not help you clear the examination. Learn it, apply it, strategize for it, strategize for scoring more in your mock tests. That is one mistake these are the 2 mistakes that the aspirants should avoid, in my opinion.
Okay, so apart from mistakes, what advices would you like to give?
See, to be very honest, there's a lot of speculation going around regarding the vacancies and things of all that sort. All I would say is focus on your preparation. Marketing is something that you can easily relate to. So if you could focus on your preparation, understand the concepts, that would really help you score a lot higher than any other candidate. The scoring part of the mains is pretty much sorted if you understand the concepts. Try to not just understand it. See if you could relate to any live examples for that. That is what helps you remember those concepts, right? That is what helps you score well in mains as well. So yeah, delve into your preparation, put your time and effort into it. I would say then it's your exam to crack. Yes.
So as you have shared your advice, what are the few things that you did daily while preparing for the exam that the other aspirants can take from?
Sure. The first thing would be to set boundaries. Go about everything that you do every day. Absolutely. Do not change your routine into something that's pretty stringent or anything. The brain would not be able to adapt to it so suddenly. So set boundaries. You want to watch a movie, do it, but set boundaries for it. Set a time limit for it. You want to play, but set a boundary for it. That was one thing. The second thing was do whatever you can to free your mind out of the pressure, right? I used to go on rides. I used to do a lot of solo rides by myself. So that was one pressure reliever for me. I never used to think that this is taking away my time. You have to have that mental space to be able to grasp a lot of knowledge in a comfortable manner, in an efficient manner, I would say. So give yourself that free time. Enjoy the preparation, enjoy the journey. Enjoy whatever you're learning. Do not look at it as some sort of an exam that you are bound to crack. Look at it as something that you're learning that might help you in the future, something that might improve your knowledge. It is then that you would be free of all the restrictions and you would be able to grasp a lot of knowledge and do better. I would say these would be my advice. Yes.
Okay. That's great. So we have come to the end of today's session, and I would like to thank you, Sai Lokesh, for joining us. It was a wonderful session. Congratulations once again for clearing the exam and securing Air 1. All the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.